I found a hidden room in our house with photos of her ex and confronted her. She broke down and revealed a dark secret that changed everything I thought I knew about our marriage. My wife and I bought our dream Victorian house last year. I'm in software, she's a pediatric nurse. Both 32, married 4 years, with what I thought was an open book relationship. Until I found that damn room. I was renovating our upstairs bathroom alone while she worked hospital shifts. Tearing out the old vanity, I noticed the measurements were off. The bathroom was shorter than it should be compared to the adjacent rooms. Something wasn't right. Tapping the walls revealed a hollow sound. Heart racing, I cut through the drywall to find a door, plastered over, painted, hidden. I pried it open after an hour of sweaty work, hinges screaming like they were betraying a secret they'd kept for years. Behind it, a narrow space with a single cardboard box. The smart move would have been waiting for my wife. Instead, I yanked it open like a kid at Christmas. Photos, hundreds of them, my wife with a man I'd never seen. They looked happy, disturbingly happy. Hiking, parties, vacations, even shots of them in bed together, tangled in sheets, her smile wider than any I'd seen directed at me. My stomach churned as I dug deeper. Love letters, ticket stubs, a silver heart necklace I'd never seen her wear, and at the bottom, a small velvet box with an engagement ring. I'd known about Ethan, her ex she'd dated for 3 years before me, the relationship that fizzled out amicably when he moved to Seattle for work. So why were these mementos hidden in our walls like a body? The front door slammed downstairs. Michelle was home early. "Hey babe, surprise day off." Her voice echoed from below. "Upstairs!" I managed to croak out. Her footsteps on the stairs, then her face in the doorway, smile evaporating to horror as she saw me surrounded by her past. "What is this?" I asked, holding up a photo of her wrapped around this mystery man like ivy on a trellis. She didn't answer, just bolted down the hall and locked herself in our bedroom. When I finally coaxed her out, her mascara had created black rivers down her cheeks. "I should have told you," she whispered, hands trembling so violently she had to clasp them together. I wanted to so many times. "Told me what? That you're still obsessed with your ex? That you've been lying to me our entire relationship?" My voice rose with each question, anger finally breaking through my shock. "That this was our house." She couldn't meet my eyes as she said it, staring instead at the photos scattered across the floor. The bomb dropped, detonating everything I thought I knew about us. "Whose house?" I asked, though I already knew the answer. "Mine and Ethan's," she admitted, each word seemingly pulled from her with physical pain. "We bought it together 8 years ago. We renovated it. We were going to start a family here." I felt like I'd been gut punched. "You lived here? With him? You told me your realtor friend found this place?" "I know, I lied." Her voice was barely audible, shame coloring each syllable. "I lied about all of it." "But why keep his stuff? Why hide it in the walls instead of throwing it away?" My voice cracked as I asked the question I was most afraid to hear answered. "Are you still in love with him? Have you been comparing me to him, our whole marriage?" "He's not my ex," she said, voice breaking as fresh tears spilled over. Her eyes finally met mine, filled with a grief so raw it took my breath away. "He's my dead fiancé." The second bomb. Ethan hadn't moved to Seattle. He hadn't chosen a job over her. He'd died, suddenly, horrifically, in a car accident 3 months before their wedding. This house, our house, had been their dream home, built on plans and hopes that death had shattered. "You told me you broke up," I shouted, years of unwitting deception fueling my anger. "That he moved away for work, that your relationship had been over for years before we met, that you were both relieved when it ended." Each lie I'd believed tumbled from my mouth like poison I needed to expel. "I couldn't bear to talk about it," she sobbed, her body shaking with the force of her cries. The first few times someone asked about him after the accident, I completely fell apart, I couldn't function. My therapist suggested creating a less painful narrative, just to get through casual conversations without breaking down. But then, the story, it became easier to tell than the truth, easier to live with. Less painful for you, I thundered, knocking a lamp from the bedside table. It shattered against the wall, making us both jump. What about me? Finding out our entire relationship is built on lies? Finding out I've been sleeping in the same bedroom where you and your dead fiancé once slept? That I've been made a fool of for years? It wasn't like that, she pleaded, reaching for me, but I jerked away as if her touch might burn. Then what was it like, Michelle? Please, explain to me what possible justification you could have for letting me buy a house you already owned without telling me its history. When she couldn't answer through her tears, something in me snapped. I stormed out, slamming the front door so hard a picture fell from the wall and cracked. A photo of us on our honeymoon in Bali. How fitting. I drove aimlessly for hours, my mind racing through every moment of our relationship, re-examining every conversation, every decision through this new, terrible lens. Had she ever really loved me? Was our marriage real, or just a convenient way to keep the house she couldn't bear to leave? Was she settling for second best, a pale imitation of her great lost love? Was I living in a shrine to her dead lover, sleeping in his spot, eating in his kitchen, making love to his almost widow? When I returned past midnight, my anger dulled to a throbbing ache. I found Michelle sitting on our porch steps, not crying anymore, just waiting, a blanket wrapped around her shoulders against the autumn chill. Her face was pale, eyes hollow with exhaustion, but resolute. I need to show you something, she said quietly, voice hoarse from tears. Please, just give me 5 minutes. Then if you want me to leave, I will. The offer shocked me. In 4 years of marriage, neither of us had ever threatened to leave. But nothing about this day had followed the rules of our relationship as I'd understood them. She led me to a box I hadn't noticed before in our closet. Inside were photos of us, hundreds of them, every moment of our relationship meticulously documented. Our first date, road trips, the night I proposed. I take pictures of everything, she said softly. Always have. It's how I hold on to memories. Then she pulled out her phone and showed me something that shattered my anger instantly. A text conversation with her therapist from years ago, dated just 2 months after we'd started dating. Michelle, I met someone. His name is Thomas. I feel guilty for being happy again. Therapist, why? Michelle, because I'm forgetting what Ethan looked like. The exact sound of his laugh. Being with Thomas feels like cheating on a ghost. Like I'm betraying Ethan by letting someone else into my heart. Therapist, that's normal. Moving on doesn't dishonor what you had. Michelle, I sealed up his things in the house today. I can't look at them anymore, but I can't throw them away either. Is that crazy? Therapist, that's okay. Healing isn't linear. You're allowed to hold on to pieces of your past while building something new. My eyes burned as I read the raw, unfiltered thoughts of the woman I'd married. Thoughts she'd had when we were just beginning, when I was falling in love with her without knowing the weight she carried. I never showed you this house before we found it because I was terrified, she admitted. Terrified you'd sense another man's presence here. Terrified you wouldn't want a home with ghosts. But why lie about how he died? I asked, my voice gentler now, but still wounded. Because men get weird about being compared to dead partners, she said bluntly. They can't compete with a memory frozen in time. A breakup, they understand. Someone choosing Seattle over me. Death is different. Death means he didn't choose to leave. I sat stunned, absorbing this bombshell twisting through our marriage like a tornado. There's one more thing you should know, she said, her voice suddenly steady in a way that commanded my full attention. I'm pregnant. My head snapped up so fast I felt dizzy. What? The word escaped as barely more than a whisper. 8 weeks. I was waiting for the right moment to tell you. The absurdity hit me, and I laughed, a genuine, unexpected release of tension. So you're telling me I found your dead fiancé's pictures hidden in our walls on the same day you were planning to tell me I'm going to be a father? She nodded, a small smile cracking through her tears. That's some timing, I said, shaking my head. Then something else clicked. The bathroom renovation, you didn't want me doing it. You kept suggesting we hire someone. I knew what was behind that wall, she admitted. I thought it was sealed forever. We stayed up all night talking, really talking, perhaps for the first time, about grief, about secrets, about jealousy of ghosts. Did you ever love me as much as him? I finally asked, the question that had been burning in my chest. No, she said, and my heart sank until she continued. I loved Ethan completely when I was 24. I love you completely now at 32. They're different loves. I'm a different person. The next morning, I hung a small framed photo of Ethan in our hallway, alongside our wedding pictures and family portraits. Michelle froze when she saw it. What are you doing? Making space for all of your story, I said. Not just the parts that are comfortable for me. She touched the frame gently, then looked at me with tears and a smile that finally reached her eyes fully. I'm not living in Ethan's house anymore, she whispered. I'm living in ours. 3 months later, we learned we're having twins, boy and girl. We're naming our son after my grandfather. And our daughter? Her middle name will be Etha. Not because I'm honoring a ghost, but because I'm honoring the complete truth of the woman I love, past, present, and future, hiding nothing behind walls anymore. Thank you for watching. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do so and hit the notification bell to stay updated with more emotional family stories from our channel.